Welcome to where we glorify, embrace, enjoy, gaze at the beauty of humanity. This is your friend talking to you from the throne of humanity. Hey, listen, I'm here for you, man. Never give up. Keep fighting. It's not a matter of guns, it's not a matter of nuclear. It's what we call the mind game. Jihad of the mind. Hey, I'm rolling out some episodes here. I hope you are excited the way I am. Because if you're not excited about humanizing others and fighting for their space in the universe, we ourselves who think we are comfortable in our own space might be relinquishing it to other forces that we're not even aware of. And in the athletics sphere, in that ecosystem of athletics, I've raised alarm about Kenya being isolated and being banned and being sanctioned as a country for their vices and devices and corruption. I think for me, maybe to preserve humanity and to preserve something you love, you must speak if you care for it. I think like I shared last time about this young girl who was 12 years old, 14. If you listen to a girl championing humanity, at one space, some of the writings she left for us in her diary, she talks of she loves all kind of people. And she's speaking from a hiding space that kept her alive, I don't know for how long. This is a young person who continually wrote about the dignity, the preservation of humanity, and the yearning for peace, and the yearning of a symbiotic system that we can feel we all belong. And so for me, the athletic sphere, the athletic ecosystem, I think for me, as a referee, I think even as a football referee in this country, I think we've reached a very pivotal point in sports and how people they're rallying around the sport, but with different agenda. That we are so caught up in our mental issues that we are not addressing them, and so we channel it through certain things. And for me, sports has become a very interesting arena where what people say, what people spew out in the arena, or what they got out, or they just vomit in the sporting world, including what I talked about last time of a Polish woman who dare said that in the 800 meters in the finals in Brazil, she was running against men because, according to her, they were not woman enough. They didn't look like her. So, and these are the same people who could even be talking of themselves being liberal. You know, they say we live in a democratic system. But the orthodoxy, the indoctrination, the dehumanizing concepts and the values that they articulate and promote and pontificate is quite toxic. And it borders on something, to me, more problematic than the talent I see on the field. That even now, when I think of some of these athletes, you wonder how what we are looking is real. Let me just spread my wings a little bit. Let me spread my thought process to different sports. The Serena Williams, Venus and her sister Serena, made me appreciate tennis because I'm a person of color. So I started watching tennis for a while, and one of the things that you notice quickly is how much work it takes to be an athlete. I remember for myself, when I was in college, I would go to the gym where people are lifting weights. And I'd never done weights in my life. I came from Kenya, skinny guy, I'm skinny, I don't have a lot of muscles. And I was in the gym. And, you know, we had these football players, basketball players, they're American, most of them Jamaicans. I think I was the only Kenyan. very skinny guy, cross-country guy, very skinny. And people would watch me lifting and they were laughing. They were like, is he going to be able to bench that? I was benching maybe the bar by itself to begin, and I started improving. I think by the time I was finishing my college there, I could bench maybe 45, maybe 135, maybe some reps. But it wasn't that I was developing muscles. I was just trying to maintain a physique that can sustain a lot of work that I was doing as an athlete. So you have people laughing at you because you're skinny as a man. So you are not man enough because you don't have muscles. And so for a woman, let's go to the women, people like Serena. One of the things that people have spoken about Serena more than anything else is not how strong-minded she is and how beautiful she is and how great of a mother she is or how she's eloquent, well-spoken and well thought of, and how she made the sport of tennis change for the opponents. People talk of masculinity, the other side of, oh man, look at those muscles, look at her whipping it. And even commentators, one of the things you have to really say is that most of these commentators are white men and sometimes even white women. It has changed in some areas because I think there's a commentator who is black. I've watched her in maybe CBS. They kind of try to bring things together and say this is who Serena is. It changed for her maybe in the last few years, but in the beginning, when she was competing against people like Anna Kournikova, a Romanian, Maria Sharapova, those Europeans or people, Caucasians, man, if you listen to those, you can go back and watch. You could just tell that they saw Serena and Venus as a threat. Not as a threat as tennis players. They are a threat because they were muscular. They were strong. And that is very interesting because Maria Sharapova never, ever beat the Williams sisters. And it was a competition between the Russian, even the Romanian Anna Kournikova. She was only known for her playboy stuff. She was a model. She made more money. She had a better contract than the Williams sisters because of her looks. She was slender, she was European, and that's what sells. Institutions, corporations gave her a lot of money to market the product. And in fact, at the time, the Williams sisters complained about that. People were like, oh, it's about that body, that European body. And people like Serena struggled for long. Serena, I think, makes her living towards the end of her career. You can go back and look. It's because some people never saw her as beautiful. What a sad day to say that. And I'm just broadening my thinking because sometimes people think I'm not aware of other sports. I am. And I think they struggle a lot. And people like Maria Sharapova, they barely won any tournaments or any singles. In fact, Anna Kournikova, who was being marketed by her mother, was one time interviewed, and I think I'm paraphrasing this. She said that my daughter was not here to play tennis. She was using tennis and her body to market herself. And she did a good job. I'm not saying there's something wrong with that image of Eurocentric body and beauty and womanhood and all that. I'm not saying anything wrong with that. What I'm saying is that is not the African or the Afro or the African American body. But still a woman, is still a human being. They deserve a space. And if we are going to talk of sports, if we are going to talk of abilities and professionalism, let's look at that as the merit. And let's look at that. Serena Williams, 14 slams. She won 14 open tennis slams around the world. 14. Do you know how many Maria Kournikova won? 0. I think maybe Maria Sharapova, maybe 2, 3, maybe. You can check it out. I'm just speaking from the top of my head. So, but they made a lot because of their bodies. Compared to somebody who was really a tennis player who makes their living maybe down the road because people had come along and say, hey, we need to wake up and see that we are either watching tennis as a sport or we are watching bodies. But you'd be surprised. Bodies sell. Hollywood has done a good job. So The problem with African Americans, per se, is how they are portrayed. And now there is an hyperbole to their narrative of their womanhood. It's exaggerated. Oh, muscular, that's not feminine enough. Let's suppress it. Wiggle your hair. Even if you don't have some hair on your head, just do this. Even we as men sometimes, we are told we are not muscle enough. You need to go to the gym and you're too skinny. You're not man enough, You need to rip it. So we have all these things playing in our heads, playing in our psyche. And the reason why I'm broadening my thinking is for people to see that being a woman of color in particular, and even woman in general, in this space and this universe we live in, is a challenge. And I think if you've watched my episodes, I've been as feminist and as human as I can get. I think I'm fighting for a voice that has been suppressed, either in sports or has been suppressed because they are who they are. To even go that fast, talking of tennis, is for us to realize that sports can be deceptive. We can be allured into thinking we're just watching a spectacle, but we are watching human beings. Because let me challenge you and I. Let's go to swimming. Phelps, what's his first name? I don't remember. The swimmer from America. This guy is tall. You can see his ear. He has everything that is very dolphin-like. He's like somebody who can be in the water for ages. Has anybody questioned how long his arms are? That gives him an advantage, right? Long arms, you can get those strokes, and the feet are big, so you can have those strokes. Anybody question Phelps in the swimming? No. Nope. The only time we talk about men in particular is when it comes to steroids. And they've used some component to enhance that. But we don't talk of their bodies, how they look, how their physique is. Oh, you have long arm, Phelps. You have an advantage. So you should go home and they should trim and suppress those arms. Those muscles are too strong. Suppress them because you have an advantage. Let me tell you why I'm going to end on something here for me that is sobering. And I think it's sobering to an extent that so I mentioned last time of the 3 women that were number 1, 2, 3 in the 800 meters. It was Caster Semenya, South African, Francison, what was her name? Samba from Burundi, and then Mary Wamboi. Not Margaret Wamboi, so to speak. They were the 1, 2, 3 women at 2016 Olympics. That was the end of their career after that Polish woman spoke like that. Because immediately after that, the IAAF instituted a very rigorous testing to suppress the testosterone. And these women never met that because their bodies could not take the steroids that were suppressing that. Let me give you the names. And they are all African. In fact, there's only one Indian. I think there's an Indian woman who was caught in this Eurocentric project as was rolled out. Her name is the sprinter. She's a 200-meter runner. Her name is Duti Chad. She's an Indian woman, upcoming sprinter. She came of age. She was doing very well. And then the Australian newspapers, the European newspapers, the Euro channels caught that image and they went after her. Her career was done. I don't know why we have Commonwealth freaking games. Sorry, I'm getting kind of mad about it. But yeah, career was over once they say that she wasn't woman enough. Her testosterone was so spiked up. Look at her muscles. Look at the features. She has hair on her chin. Oh, they have hair. She's growing hair. She can't be growing hair. She's not a woman. She might be having, what's wrong with intersex? Because, anyway, hold on a minute. Let me go back to the list of the women from 2016 that her career just went into sunset and they never had a career not because of what that woman said about them being male. It's because of the Eurocentric project that was rolled out to pretty much end their career. These are the names. Beatrice Masilingi. She was a marathon runner from South Africa. Christine Mbompa. She was a Namibian, Upcoming Namibia, 200 meters, 100 meters. She was fast. Francine, I mentioned for the Burundian. Hamitose Yeni, Algerian. And then Margaret Wamboy. And then Casa Semenya. The list goes on and is on. In fact, there's a Ugandan. There's a Ugandan who sadly chose to suppress her testosterone, and she almost died because what happened, her body rejected everything. In fact, she talks about how her organs almost failed because she tried to do that in Uganda, which is, I don't know whether they have the tools, and the fact that she was subjected to this. There's a documentary that came out that spoke about her life after, and she never ran again because it affected all the parts of her body, and mostly the feminine part or the woman part. So I'm struggling with this because let me tell you how bad it is for me. Because I'm talking of 800 meters. The world record in 800 meters is not anybody in Africa. I think the closest that came to that was Pamela Chelimo, 154 in 2008 in Beijing. The world record in 800 meters is held by a Czechoslovakian, a European woman. You can Google Jamila Gratojvilova. She's from Czech, so the far east. What do you call it? Is that the eastern bloc of Europe? I think that record has been around for almost 40 years now. The world record in 800 is 153.28. It's held by a European woman. You can Google the picture of Jamila Gratojvilova. If you look at the picture of that woman, as woman as she is, and you put her next to Caster Semenya or Pamela Chelimo or any other African athlete, the physique, the masculinity, the muscles, the toning of the body. If she was black, they would say she's a man. But no, she's not black. She's European, and she has the world record. You know, she holds the world record too in 400 meters, which is 47.99. You know, I never ran 47.99 flat in 400. This woman, if you look at her physique in 1980s, I think 83, 83 that time, she had the framework. Do you know what they suspected her of? Only steroids. They say, oh, she was juiced up. So when it comes to Europeans, women, who have the same physique, or the same structure, or they are women. Don't get me wrong here. I'm not trying to say she's not a woman. She's a woman. But the body work, the framework of that woman, if you look at it in this world whereby we are saying African Americans who are physique are men, you say the same thing about Jamila. But no, when you look at the Wikipedias, what they talk about are, oh, she was on steroids. They don't say she must have had a high T, what they call high testosterone. Why is it that we have double standard here? It's because it's a Eurocentric project. When it comes to the Europeans and the people of that descent, compared to African Americans, we're always talking of the steroids. But when it comes to who they are as women in Africa and African descent, it's the testosterone. You go figure that one. Pharmacy or physical? I don't know. I'm just saying the world is effed up when it comes to race. We are stuck in the race construct. The enterprise of colonials and the slavery still plays whether we like to say it or not. It is played in many faces, in many institutions, and in sports in particular. Is quite racist. Even in my refereeing world, I'll tell you that. I know it. So I'm not playing victim. I'm just saying the world is not fair. Don't claim that. What I'm saying too is that the narrative, the old narrative of make America great again, We can as well say, some people are saying, let's make the universe or the world great again. And how do you do that? How do you make it great again? Let's go back to the old template. Even religious world, people are like, well, give me that old-time religion. How does it look like? How does, give me that old-time religion. Give me that old-time religion. How does that look like when it comes to women, people of color, or anybody? If you tell me, let's make it great. For who? Man, these subjects are exhausting. But I think the more I do it, the more I feel liberated. The more I get a sense of what it is I want to admire. If it has face, it has value. Maybe that's all I can gaze on and gain strength from that. It was me saying, cheerio, cheerio, baby. Give me that old-time religion. By the way, you can always make a deal with me by subscribing, liking, sharing. That's the only deal I have with you, because I just share what I'm wrestling with in athletics world, and this was dedicated still to the women who've been suppressed, humiliated, and not seen as being human in their own design. You're a human being, my friend. Take it from there.